What's going on, people? Welcome back to Curtis Shaw TV, back with another live stream. Top Spur? What's that? You ever heard of them? No? It was necessary. I had to do it, people. Cheeky Nando's on a Monday night, and Chelsea finally made themselves useful and went and battered Tottenham in the end by 4-1 and, slowed down all that hype that we needed. Unbelievable game, by the way, I've got to be honest. And listen, even though Chelsea won 4-1, they actually, I don't think, deserve that much credit out of the game. You know, they struggled against 9 men. Tottenham decided to defend on the halfway line and got picked off in the end. Nicholas Jackson probably scored the worst hat-trick we've ever seen. Like, you got a hat-trick, but you're still rubbish. You know, it was like Sanogo was up front. He could have scored about 6. And then he's hitting Cristiano Ronaldo and LeBron James celebrations. I was like, bro, relax, man. Samuel L. Jackson would have probably scored more than you. But anyway, it is what it is. Tottenham beaten. Chelsea made themselves useful. Everything is calm and restored. We can't get too hyped. They are still above us in the table. So let's make sure we handle business first. But yeah, it was good to see them brought back down to earth. Anyway, let's talk Arsenal. It's Tuesday today, people. Press conference reaction from the manager, Mikel Arteta. And listen, I want to try and go through a show without talking too much about VAR. I got to be honest, I'm not interested. They're not going to change their mind. You're not going to get new VAR officials this weekend. You're still going to get shocking results. You've just got to get on with it. You know, and I know you shouldn't have to. What all the managers have to do is come together, say VAR doesn't work in this country and we need something to change. Other than that, I'm not particularly bothered in all the crying and the antics. And I know some of you may think that's extremely harsh, but I'd rather live in a factual world than a fictional one. You know, whatever happened, it happened. We can complain about it. And that's it. We move on. We have another game and we need to win. Yeah, I was up late watching NBA last night. Heat beat Lakers. LeBron had a good game, but the Lakers were beaten. But yeah, that's for my NBA fans. There will be NBA content soon, people. Trust me. But anyway, let's look ahead. Champions League midweek is back. Arsenal have to bounce back. Enough Arsenal therapies. We had 2 last week. I do not want to do another one this week. We have got Sevilla at home, and then Burnley at home, and then the international break. Nothing is acceptable other than back-to-back victories this week. Otherwise, never mind Arsenal therapy. We'll be going into rehab. We have to win. If we win tomorrow night, we could potentially qualify for the knockout stages if results go our way. We saw Sevilla in the away game. They didn't look great. I actually thought they were going to be our closest competitors in this group, but watching them in that group game, they looked old, they looked slow, and they looked like a team that we can pick off. But the big factor is Gabriel Jesus was the difference maker in that away game. He's not playing in the home game. So what difference is that going to make, you know, and will Odegaard be fit and so on and so forth. Yeah, LeBron's about 39 now. I think he's about 39. But anyway, let's look ahead. Couple of bits of news before we get into press conference reaction and look ahead to the team news and so on and so forth. 2 bits of news that I want to talk about. John Cross has released a story. Remember John Cross? The war chest man every summer. The war chest is coming out for Wenger. And then we'd sign Peter Cech for 12 million and no one else. I don't know if this guy has any credibility in the Arsenal fan base. He tends to talk about Chelsea a lot now. He says Thomas Partey is a major concern for Arsenal as he could be out until the end of the year. Now, I said the other day, I don't think you'll see much of him until February. It looks as if this is going to be the case. It looks as if this will be the case. AFCON starts at the start of January, but they actually go at the end of December. Obviously, they'll probably play a warm-up game, have a couple of days training. And Partey, I mean, it's a Cat D, people. It's a write-off. You've smashed up the car. You can fix it, but it'll never quite be the same. It's a bonus if he plays for us, but we might as well consider him not particularly part of this squad anymore. You're probably right. We'll probably see Timber before we see Partey. Partey, 4 games I think he's played this season. Playing at right back probably didn't help. Extra running that he had to do. He goes and plays 2 games for Ghana. He comes back and he's a write-off. End of December. He'll then go AFCON for January. You might see him in an Arsenal shirt start of February. You wouldn't be surprised if he got injured playing in AFCON. Some people were saying sell him in January. You're not selling him in January because who wants an injured player on big wages? Now, conspiracy theorists are out there. We're not going to talk about specifics, but you know the situation that was being spoken about, and we don't know what's happened with that. Some people, on social media saying he's not injured. And this, but we don't want to talk about that. We have to speak facts, not opinions, when it comes to things as serious as that. Listen, let's get one thing clear. We need to sign a centre midfielder in January. That's number one. We need a centre midfielder. And this might not be the big £80 million Barella. Some people saying Tchouaméni. I don't think you can get him. But you've got to get somebody in, even if you do get the 35, 40 million Douglas Luiz. We've been linked with various other players as well, who I'm going to speak about briefly before we get into press conference reaction. But we need a midfielder in January. At the moment, in terms of central midfielders, we've got Declan Rice, who is carrying the whole midfield at the moment. You've got Jorginho, who, if I speak, I'm suspended 6 months. And then Mohamed El Neni, who's going to be at AFCON himself. Again, he's not really involved at Arsenal, is he? So we desperately need a central midfield player. So if we can get Partey for the last few months of the season, then it's a bonus. But we need a centre mid. And please don't buy anyone from Chelsea. Let's stop ourselves going in that shop. Somebody just said they will probably sign Conor Gallagher. Don't buy any Chelsea players would be my advice to Edu and Arteta. But Thomas Partey could be out until the end of the year. He will then go AFCON. He won't be back until the end of January, start of February. So forget about it. It's been a disaster this season. He actually played the most games last season that he'd played. You're thinking he's turned a corner. And it's just gone downhill again. I would sell him in the summer. I think you'll struggle to sell him in January, especially if he's injured. And you just get whatever you can get out of him this season, and then you've got to go and buy somebody in January. It wouldn't surprise me if he went for Calvin Phillips, actually, from City. I wouldn't particularly want him, but, it wouldn't surprise me if we went in that direction. Big up Troy with the super sticker. What do you guys think? Ibsa says go sign Tchouaméni. I just can't see him leaving Real Madrid. As I said before, Tony Kroos and Modric are set to leave in the summer. Then that will free up a lot of space for Tchouaméni and Camavinga and Bellingham and Valverde. Why would you leave Real Madrid to come to Arsenal? Take away the fact we're Arsenal fans. You just wouldn't leave Madrid for Arsenal if there's a chance you're going to get regular football. Thiago Silva will be available next season. Wouldn't surprise me. Anthony said Thomas Partey is unreliable due to injury. Meanwhile, water is wet. Do you know what? It's not even big news, is it? It's not even big news. Youssef Fofana, I would definitely go for somebody like him. So, yeah. No, listen, let's not even talk about Thomas Partey. Thomas Partey being injured is not even breaking news. It's just regular news. It's like saying the sky is blue, water is wet. Anyway, let's look at potential replacements and one that we're being linked with. Arsenal are being linked with Andre, who we've spoken about before on this channel. Again, I've said it before. I don't know a great deal about him. I've done a bit of YouTube scouting, as you do. And I've looked at some of his details and so on and so forth. But listen, Andre is a defensive midfielder. He's 22 years of age. He's a Brazilian international. He plays for Fluminense over there in Brazil. Apparently, he has a verbal agreement in place with the president of Fluminense to leave the club at the end of the current season. He was linked with Liverpool as a potential replacement for Thiago. He's now being linked with Arsenal. Edu was over there in Brazil at Fluminense, speaking to their president at the end of the last international break. And it was said that they are willing to let him go for 35 million euros, around 30 million pounds. Now, what are your thoughts on this? Listen, if anybody watches the Brazilian league, if anybody's seen him play for the national team, feel free, chuck it in the comments. Let me know. We've spoken about him before. How good do you think he is? People coming up with all types of nicknames. Andre the Giant, Andre 3000, Andre Murray, people saying brown envelopes. Peter Andre, oh, mysterious girl, wanna get close. Let me stop, man. Let me stop. It's way too early in the week to be singing Peter Andre, that's for sure. Yeah, I mean, listen, if he's a baller, no problem. Give me him, get him to the club. But it concerns me a little bit. Maybe, does it feel like brown envelopes again? The Brazilian track record of Edu, either signing players from Brazil or signing Brazilian players, is not exactly sky high right now. As I always say to people, he didn't sign Gabriel Martinelli, so we can't give him that credit. He gets some credit for Gabriel Magalhães, and he gets some credit for Gabriel Jesus. I'm sure he had a factor in those two coming in. But the streets don't forget that you sign man like Marquinhos. Do you know what I mean? Who ain't done nothing. You signed Pablo Mari from Brazil, the left-footed Pierre Mertesacker. So you ain't done great so far, bro. I thought you was going to bring us the new Vinicius Jr. and the new Casemiro. Instead, Jorginho's Brazilian born as well. So, we can't let him get away with that. Willian. I know it happened during lockdown, but this brother signed Willian. So that track record's a little bit sketchy. I can't lie, people. This Brazilian market has not been too good so far with Edu. But listen, Arsenal sent scouts to the Copa Libertadores final to watch Fluminense's Andre Trindade, who's set to leave in January. The Brazilians want 35 million euros, which is around 30 million pounds. He has an agreement to leave if anybody matches that price. Apparently, Liverpool very keen on him as they're looking for a defensive midfielder. I can't get excited about this signing because genuinely I don't know enough about him, right? So I can't sit there and go and get him. He's the new Fabinho, the new Casemiro, blah, blah, blah. We don't know what he is. We don't know what he is. If you've watched Brazilian football, cool. Then let me know how good he is. From this point where I'm at right now, I can't say anything. I can't say anything. He could go Liverpool, look like a world beater, and we're devastated. He could come to Arsenal and look like old school Danielson centre mid, and we're thinking, what the hell have we done here? Itache said, as a Liverpool fan, I want him bad, so he does want him. Cello says, big up Big C and C unit. What happened to Bitello? I don't know. I think that was a Bitello of nonsense. A bit of nonsense. Bitello of nonsense. I was coming with a dad joke then, but it didn't really land properly. I'll move on, people. I'll move on. Grizz says he's going Liverpool. Fair enough. Didn't Grizz say Bellingham was going Liverpool? Big up Grizz, though. Big up Grizz. If it ain't Vitor Roque coming from Brazil, I don't want to hear it. We need quality Brazilians. See, hey, and big up Southern Gooner. Make sure you go and follow him. When you grow up, you think that every Brazilian is skillful and every Brazilian is good. Psychologically, every Brazilian is Ronaldinho, Ronaldo, Rivaldo, and Kaká. But you got to remember, there's Andre Santos, there's Denilson, there's Wellington Silva. There's Brazilians that aren't good, and we seem to manage to find them. That's the problem. Yeah, Bitello, yeah, oh, you know what I mean. Bitello got bitten by Win the Dog, apparently. Big up Tyrell. But, yeah, man, it's... H said he looks hella lightweight. I was looking at his clips. Clips are very difficult. You don't upload things that you do wrong, do you? On my intro, I'm not going to show you when I stood on the ball and fell over. I'm not going to show you the one-on-ones. Or I won't say one-on-ones because I believe I don't really miss one-on-ones. But, I'm not going to show you the things that went wrong. I'm only going to show you the keeper getting chipped. and getting whipped in the corner. So I look at this guy. I looked at his clips. He looks like a beast. But like I said, when Sonogo signed, I looked at his clips. I thought he was a monster. Turns out he was a postman. So, you know, who knows, people? Yeah, Emerson Royale. These Brazilians aren't all good. Gaitan said he'll come to Arsenal, get injured within a month, stay on the sideline for months, then play in the 24-25 season. Then we'll realise he's rubbish. Big up Hal Beast, who's a big Liverpool fan. He said, Big C, take Andre. I beat... Maybe he meant I want another player in midfield. He said, you'll never walk alone. You're not going to show that second goal on your intro. That's offside by a mile. Ross, relax. No VAR. We go on the referee's decision. He said onside, so it's onside. Martin said, the streets are saying you're a tapping merchant. You better relax. You've seen the intro. Don't make me run it back. First one, finesse, edge of the area, top corner. Second one, chip the keeper. Don't even dive for it. People say it's offside, but if the flag don't go up, then it's onside, as Liverpool found out against Tottenham, people. Anyway, Andrew said, I remember when Curtis tripped over at the AFTV match. I can neither confirm nor deny that, Andrew. I believe there was a bobble on the pitch. Haters will say it's 4G, but I don't agree with that. I think they hadn't laid it properly. This was in North London, near Tottenham, man. They got some cowboy in to lay that 4G. Anyway, let's move on. Ross said, I'd rather have DJ Dre instead of Andre. Somebody just said in the chat, I'd rather have Dr. Dre than Andre in midfield. Man, it's mad, people. It's crazy. I have to admit, it's difficult to get excited. You know, it's like when you was a kid and you came home and your mum said you're having pizza for dinner tonight. You was like, yes, Domino's, Pizza Hut. We're in tonight. We're eating good. And you went home and she'd bought a small cheese and tomato pizza from Co-op that was on sale because it ran out of date 24 hours later. And the oven was on. You was devastated. I was searching around for greatness from Domino's. Turns out it was a Co-op cheese and tomato that tasted like cardboard. I mean, you know, it's just not the same. I mean, yeah, you're right. We are having pizza, but it ain't the pizza I expected us to be having, you know. If you're going to sign Brazilian midfielders, get me the top dons. I don't want some unknown Donny from Brazil for £30 million. Maybe I'm spoiled, people. Maybe I should have just been happy the fact it was a pizza. But it wasn't the pizza I was expecting, people. So, you know, it is what it is. It is a Brazilian centre midfielder, but ain't quite, you know, ain't quite what we expected. An inverted pizza, as Gunnar Graham says, you know. We've all been there. Well, maybe not everyone, but you've all had that disappointment, you know, of the pizza. Big C, I'm going to put a super chat. I would like you to read it, ponder it, and discuss it with the community, said Snake Eyes. Feel free, bro. Feel free. Simon said, Andre seems most likely, because which European club will sell in January, then in the summer? Zubimendi. And you're right, listen, availability is the issue in January transfer windows. Unless a player has an agreement with the club to leave, or you're prepared to pay way more than he's worth, or his contract's running out, it's very difficult to get top players out of the door in January. This guy's season nearly finishes and he has an agreement to move, so maybe they will let him. Big up, Simon. Chris said, Big C, you're on fire today. I'm just warming up, man. It's only Tuesday. Wait till Friday, man. We'll be singing, dancing, all sorts going off. Let's just hope it's not Arsenal Therapy Thursday at 2 p.m. Ross, yeah, I read that one. I'd rather have DJ Drake. Peely said, bless Curtis, bro. I'm done with Arteta and Edu. Get them out. We need a top manager, not an imposter. Edu needs to go to League 1 too. I have had it. I mean, listen. Just before we get to some things. Obviously, I said a lot over the weekend, right? Spoke after my show, went on Bleacher Report, did that quick video on AFTV. Apologies for the signal went crazy and it was all over the place. Listen, I'm not actually saying get rid of Arteta right now. I'm not saying that. And you know me, I'm not the biggest fan of Arteta and I don't hide it, but I genuinely don't have an agenda against the guy. What I always say is, you can't call somebody wrong for wanting the best for their football club. We didn't win the league last year. We haven't won a trophy for nearly 4 years. We haven't won the Premier League for 20 years. We haven't won the League Cup for 30 years. And we've never won the Champions League. Every Arsenal fan has got a right to sit there and go, do you know what? We're not actually doing as well as we should be as a club. Look at this stadium behind us. We moved there 10 years before Tottenham. We took that step 10 years before Tottenham. We said, that's it. Highbury, great stadium, but we're going. We're too far behind Man United financially. They was in a 60+ thousand stadium. We was in a 30+. We couldn't keep up financially. Bang, we left. Gave up Highbury to go to the Emirates. I didn't like it, but I understood it. It's a business. To compete financially, you needed to be in a 60,000+ stadium. Now, when you do that, you give up your spiritual home. You go to this new stadium that still doesn't have anywhere near the atmosphere. You expect to see us reap the rewards. I was thinking, okay, we'll go there. We'll be buying players, world-class players. We'll be winning major trophies. We were sold the dream. Give up your home. Go here. Financially, we'll be at the top of the tree with Man United in the Prem. Now, obviously, Chelsea came along. Man City came along. But my question to Arsenal would be, where are the rewards that we're supposed to be reaping? We sold our best players year after year to our rivals. You want Van Persie, best striker we've had in years? Yeah, there you go, Man United. You want Alexis? Take him offers. You want Nasri? You want Fabri? Whoever you want. It's like an all-you-can-eat restaurant. Just come up and help yourself. Whoever our best player is, take him offers. We went years without winning trophies. And I'm going backwards a little bit here, but I'm just trying to sort of fast forward to where we are now. Now, we came through that period. We're not selling our best players now. Cool, we're definitely not doing that. We are making some progress. We went in that situation 10 years ago, over 10 years ago, and then 10 years later, Tottenham build their stadium. Now, I'm not comparing Tottenham in the sense of success because they don't win anything either. But let's be honest, in terms of the league, we're not a million miles away from Tottenham. We still haven't caught up with Manchester City. We're not winning trophies. We haven't won a trophy for nearly 4 years. This club is built now on success, on trophies, on being the best. When's the last time we signed a superstar? We still don't sign the superstars. Mbappe's a free transfer this summer. We're not going to be in the race for Mbappe. Now, I'm not saying we should get Mbappe because he wants Real Madrid. But when elite footballers are available, why are Arsenal's name never in the category of signing that? Why do we not even get linked with the best players? Jude Bellingham was available in the summer. Was we in the race? Did we make an offer? Were we being linked with him? Will we get linked with Mbappe? We don't even get spoken about. People would laugh. I asked the manager, can we get Mbappe? People laughed. Why are we laughing? We're one of the richest clubs in the world. We've got one of the best histories outside of European trophies. Why should we not be trying to sign Mbappe? Why didn't we make an offer for Haaland? Why weren't we trying to get Haaland? 65 million release clause. People think it's stupid. But all it does is it shows what the owners have done to the ambition of the fan base. If you say, let's try and get him, they go, oh, we can't get him, that's stupid. And you go, why not? And they go, we can't afford it, or he wouldn't come to us. No, they would come to us if we moved correctly, but we don't quite move correctly. And yes, the owners have invested more money in the last couple of years, so I can't knock them in that sense. But as you've seen with Manchester United, investing big money is not enough of a reason to win the major trophies. It's not about just throwing money at it. You've got to have the right technical director who can sign the right players, who has the right relationships with the right agents, who can get you these top players, right? Manchester City have got that. They got the guy from Barcelona. He does all the negotiations. The whole structure has to work. The owners have got to back you. The technical director's got to negotiate correctly with the right players. The manager's talent ID's got to be right. And then you start to see the results on the pitch. Now, I don't want this to be... It's not all doom and gloom. Arsenal have very much improved since Wenger left and Emery left. But there's still another big gap that's got to be bridged. And I throw these grenades out on Twitter. And there's a little bit of, I'm a bit of a wind-up merchant as well. But at the same time, my thing is always direct your energy in the right place. Don't get mad at me because I'm not as big a fan of Arteta as some of the fan base are. Be mad if you feel the club can do more. That's what I'm talking about. I want the fans to hold the club accountable and go, okay, we needed a centre midfielder last January. We were top of the Premier League and we signed Jorginho. Why is that acceptable as a fan base? Why are you angry at my tweet, but you're not angry that Jorginho signed for Arsenal in January when we could have won the Premier League? Why is your energy not towards that? When Saliba got injured, we should have said, right, no problem. The centre-back that we signed in January will go and play with Gabriel, will stay stable in defence, and will win the title. But we signed Kivior. Now, no disrespect to Kivior. In 18 months' time, we might be talking about an elite centre-back, left-footed, good on the ball. But we needed a centre-back in March when Saliba was injured. But you signed Kivior. You signed a prospect that wasn't ready. That wasn't ready to help us win the league. That's my problem with the fan base. We spent 65 million on Kai Havertz. Oh, give him time to settle in. Oh, he's improving. He tried hard. He put a tackle in. No, let's just call it as it is. Every Arsenal fan in the world knows that Kai Havertz was a bad signing. We've watched him for 12, 15 games. He's been awful. He's not good enough. So just say it as it is. And then we can find a solution. But let's not cap about it. He ain't good enough. Fabio Vieira, not good enough. 35 million, the new Bernardo Silva. No, he's not the new Bernardo Silva. He's not good enough. You can support your football club. You can love your football club. But don't just buy everything that they say and take it all as gospel. It ain't always gospel. You know, but that's what I'm saying. Listen, I may be waffling a little bit here. I've gone in a totally other direction, I know. But look at the bigger picture. Look at the bigger picture is all I'm saying. Anyway, I know, sorry, apologies. We've been nearly half an hour. Snake Eye said, mistakes by refs are intentionally done so the Prem can be on the news. It gives them more revenue. There will be frontline news. It's the cash. Do you know, I've never really looked at it from that point of view. It's difficult to say. I've always said the problem with VAR is this, right? VAR, and I've said this always, VAR is not the problem. The people using VAR. VAR is brilliant. When you got the wrong people using it, this is the problem. You got ex-referees and you've got referees doing VAR. So imagine we're all a community, right? And we're all friends and we all know each other. And on Tuesday, I'm the ref and you're doing VAR. I've made a mistake. They've gone to you. And the game's on TV and 4 million people are watching it. You know I've made a mistake. You don't want to make me look stupid on TV because we're mates. So you go, stick with the on-field decision. And they go mad in the media. And then Saturday, you're the referee and I'm in the VAR. And now you've made a mistake. The ball went out of play. Gabriel got pushed in the back. And I'm on the VAR. And there's 10 million people watching it today. And I'm going, you know what? That looks like a push in the back on Gabriel. He looks like he's in a yard dance. Toney playing. I thought Cartel was playing the way Gabriel was on Joe Linton. Pause. And I'm going, you know what? You're my mate. I don't really want to stitch you up in front of 10 million people on Sky Sports. So we'll just stick with the on-field decision. No problem. Keep it moving. It'll fizzle out in 3 days anyway. They'll forget about it. And that's the problem. You've got to bring independent people in to deal with VAR. Because if you're independent, you're going to be like, do you know what? I don't know Michael Oliver. He's got that wrong. So I'm just going to say, yeah, Michael, that's a mistake. It was a push in the back. Free kick awarded. Michael Oliver looks stupid, but we get the right decision. And that's the problem. You can't have a group of friends conducting each other. How's that going to work? You ain't going to stitch your friend up. So that's the problem with VAR. VAR should be an independent group of people, not the referees rotating. That, for me, is the biggest problem. My question is, why was the ref not sent to the screen? Yeah, I don't know if They're just incompetent. Did they think too much time was wasted? I don't know. It's, just tell the ref to go and have a look if you're not sure. Mr. Big said, don't always agree with you, Curtis, but your content is honestly top tier. Big fan. The singing gets me every time. Big up yourself, bro. Listen, I always say, this channel ain't for everyone. And listen, you don't always have to agree. I always want to make it clear. Being part of this community does not mean you have to agree with everything I say. I don't want a channel where everybody just thinks... Sometimes we're going to disagree. Just be respectful. We'll debate it. So big up yourself, bro. You don't always agree, but you're here supporting. Peely said, baseball cam checks run so smooth. The whole major league in Canada and US all gets referred to New York for an answer. They never get a decision wrong. As I say, friendships, corruptions, that's the problem. Oliver said, another thing I refuse to think is that the owner gives his money to us. Sorry, he doesn't. Well, we know that. We know that. The numbers are there, people. I was going to say the Kroenkes then. Yeah, the Kroenkes. Yeah, it is the Kroenkes. I was thinking the Glazers. Yeah, the Kroenkes. Most of the money that we spend is money that we earn. We're one of the richest clubs in this country. 60,000. One of the most expensive season tickets in Europe. We've got dough. He took out loans to balance the debts. Denver Nuggets, look at them. They're the best team in the NBA right now, probably with Boston Celtics. He's living the high life elsewhere. We've improved, but we're still not where we need to be. Go and look at the contracts that he spends in the NBA. Go and look at the size of the deals that his Rams team are signing. We're a drop in the ocean. So people go, oh, the Kroenkes, oh, they're backing us. We're still the side dish. We're the halloumi cheese. We're the coleslaw. We're the bread. We're the tap water. We are not the chicken. We're not even the rice yet. So trust me. People hype up, oh, Kroenkes give us 200 million. 200 million? Chelsea spent $1 billion, bro. He's richer than Bowley, as Snake Eyes is saying. Go and look at his numbers compared to Todd Bowley. If he woke up with Todd Bowley's money tomorrow, he'd be crying. That's how rich that guy is. And his missus has got Walmart. We are the side piece people that gets the 3 a.m. phone call. You know what I mean? I'm telling you. We're a drop in the ocean. The Kroenkes could really flex if they wanted to. They don't want to yet. Garbo said, I had to laugh at Michael Oliver last night, being able to brandish red cards with no issue. Wasn't able in the Man City match. Absolute fraud. Oh, you know what these referees are like. You should not be surprised about any of these referees in the Premier League. John said Kroenke is the richest sports owner in America. But I'm supposed to celebrate because we got 200 million in one window. Come on. We need a 400 million transfer window. But we'll see. What did he say? I didn't buy Arsenal to win trophies. That's his words, not mine. Justin, big up to you for becoming a member, bro. Really appreciate it. Big up yourself. Member stream next week. Big up my brother, Fran, in the building. Go and follow him. He's changed the name of this channel so many times. 10 Trading. Go and follow him. He said, it's your fault, Kurt. I don't take no responsibility, bro. None whatsoever. If you want to learn finances and stuff like this, guy is the man to go and listen to. He knows what he's talking about. Big up yourself, bro. Anyway, let's get into it. I've been absolutely waffling there. I'm like the new Mickey Ross, Mikel Arteta people. Again, transfer rumours today to this man. For those who haven't got the screen in front of them, it is Ivan Toney, of course. We talk about Ivan Toney nearly every day. Rumours today. Daily Mirror states, Arsenal will make a move for Ivan Toney this January if financially they can make it happen. It is believed Arsenal may need to offset a transfer to balance the books, although they may be able to sell a player in the summer window to balance the books to enable them to make a January move. So that's positive news. This is John Cross again, by the way, so take this with a pinch of salt. This is the guy that said, you know, we were going to sign Gonzalo Higuain from Napoli for £75 million. He signed for Juventus 3 days later for £90 million. Arsenal may not have to sell a player in January to balance the books. It could be a summer thing. So we could quite easily buy Toney in January and then go and sell Eddie in the summer, or go and sell Smith Rowe, or maybe sell Ramsdale if they end up buying David Raya, although I would not be in too much of a rush to buy David Raya the way that guy's been playing. And Fran was calling out Ivan Toney a long time ago, I can't lie. He knows him from his Peterborough days. Listen, I've said it before and I'll say it again. It's an absolute no-brainer. It's so obvious that it won't probably happen. As I've been saying for 2 years, 3 years, if it makes sense, Arsenal won't do it. We'll probably go and sign Mbeumo from Brentford or sign Whistle. You know, we wanted Basuma for 2 years. We went to Brighton, signed Trossard, signed Ben White. We signed everyone but Basuma. So, will we do it? Will we not? As we've said before, apparently they want 70 to 80 million. Forget that 100 million. They're not getting that. And he wants to leave. So, as I said, the striker market is not very good, especially in January. Unless you're going to take a risk on a player that hasn't done too much yet. People talking about Boniface, people talking about Sesko, Santiago Jimenez. You know, a lot of these guys are relatively unproven and come with a lot of risk. And I just don't see Arsenal getting somebody like Osimhen because I just think they'll be too expensive unless we get them in the summer. Let's see what he said. Is Toney even clinical? Listen, any striker that scores 20 league goals in the Premier League, that's all we need to know, right? Ask any striker at any level about 20 league goals. That's where you want to live. That's where every striker wants to live. Gabriel Jesus has never scored 20 league goals. Lacazette never scored 20 league goals in the Prem. 20 league goals is where goal scorers want to live. Anything above that, and then you're a superstar. So, yeah, clinical 20 league. When's the last time we had a 20 league goal striker? Aubameyang. That's the last one. And he left years ago. 6 pens, but as I always say, man, penalties are not open goals. I've seen big players miss penalties. So, and exactly, Toney is more clinical than Eddie and Jesus. Go to Madrid, accept the 50 million they were willing to pay for Havertz. Well, they'll be getting Mbappe next summer on a free, mate. Do you know? So I think we've missed the boat on that one. Scarrety said, exactly, see, you will end up as Harry's replacement. People have to understand, most of you watched that game last night. What do Chelsea desperately need? They need a striker. Forget the fact that Nicholas Samuel L. Jackson scored a hat-trick. He's rubbish. They will go for Toney, I would imagine. And they will, you know what Chelsea are like. They'll throw money on the table. Tottenham have got 100 million in their pocket from Harry Kane. I know Son actually looks brilliant up front. But they'll still be looking for a striker. So we got to be careful. The last thing we want is him to end up somewhere else. Canadian Gooner said, Aubameyang scored 20, but Arsenal looked rubbish. But was that his fault? I don't think it was. You put rubbish around him like Ceballos and Kolasinac and, Mustafi. He could only do what was around him. He never looked rubbish at Dortmund. Fitz said, sell Havertz, job done. Got one question, Fitz. Totally agree with you. Who would want to buy him? And the clubs that would want to buy him, right? Because I think there are maybe Leverkusens and clubs like that would take him. I just don't know if they can pay 220 grand a week. He's on a 4-year deal with a 1-year option. So how do you get Kai Havertz out of Arsenal? I totally agree. I'd sell Havertz yesterday. Forget tomorrow. Forget today. I'd have sold him yesterday. I don't care if the window's closed. Just get a flight. Get out of my face. Just get out of my office. It's one of them with Havertz. Get out of my face. I put him on gardening leave and then sell him in January. January the 1st at midnight. Who's going to buy him? The only way you're getting Havertz out is on loan with an option to buy. And even then, how do they pay the wages? We're going to be stuck with this guy for the foreseeable future. That's my concern. Alberto said, does this mean we're upgrading the number 14? I mean, I'd like to think so, but this manager, he loves Eddie. Simon said, watch Jimenez tonight versus Lazio. Scores way above his expected goals. The guy is clinical. He's the side netting king. Let Toney go to Chelsea. I'm going to have a look. I'm going to have a look at him tonight. See what he's about. I've heard a lot about him. He could be cheaper. So let's see what's going on there. But let's move on from Ivan Toney. Will it happen? I hope so, but I wouldn't I wouldn't get too excited. L. Dot said, Curtis, let's be real. 6 of his goals were pens. The guy's a worse conversion rate minus the pens than Jesus. That's a fact. He isn't the level required. See, one thing with me, he scored 20, 21 league goals, right? If he scored 14 penalties, I'd say, okay, you've got a point. He hasn't hardly scored a goal from open play. He scored 6 penalties. Most top strikers take penalties. And you're saying take away the penalties, he's got a worse conversion rate. It's like me saying take away Thierry Henry's pace, he wouldn't be as good. He has got the pace. He does score the penalties. Like that, it's irrelevant to me. It doesn't make sense. It's like saying take away Ronaldinho's skill and he's not that good. He has got the skill. Ivan Toney scores penalties. He scored 6 of them. That doesn't bother me. I don't care where your goal comes from. Come to this club and score goals. If you want a different striker, give me a striker. Listen, I would love to get Osimhen, but are Arsenal going to drop 130 million in January? It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So it's, Ollie Watkins or Jimenez for 45 mil. I mean, you're never getting Watkins for 45 mil because he costs 38 mil and he's just signed a new 4-year deal. And Villa are doing well and they've got rich owners. So I'm telling you now, Villa would be asking for 70, 80 million for Watkins. Jimenez, yeah, you can maybe get him. I don't know enough about him. I might try and look at him tonight. Snake Eyes, great point. I just saw this before coming on stream. Gabriel Jesus out injured but has been named in the Brazil squad. Make that make sense. Make it make sense. I don't even understand that myself. It's probably going to be another Thomas Partey where he's injured and then somehow plays for his country. It makes no sense. Let me show you this actually. All 3 Arsenal Brazilians have been named in the Brazil squad. Now, that makes no sense to me whatsoever. If Arsenal are telling Brazil Jesus is injured, why are they naming him in the squad? They clearly think he's going to be available by the end of next week. So as you can see, the squad, Gabriel Magalhaes, Gabriel Martinelli and Gabriel Jesus. That Andre, by the way, we're being linked with is in the squad. Look at the midfielders. Bruno Guimaraes, a player we should have signed. Douglas Luiz, a player we're being linked with. You know, there's a lot. But, yeah, I don't know. It wouldn't surprise me if Jesus doesn't play for Arsenal and then ends up playing for Brazil. And you just think, what the hell is going on here? Simon said, you'll be happy just in Eddie missed training today. I mean, listen, honestly, in all honesty, I will never celebrate an injury of an Arsenal player. I just won't. It's horrible being injured. Any kind of injury. I was a terrible player to get injured. Like, I didn't deal with injuries well. And it says here he's absent from training. He'll undergo a late fitness test tomorrow. You just know he's going to pass that fitness test. So they'll squeeze him into that team somehow. So I'm not going to celebrate the guy being injured. That Brazil midfield is stinking. Anyway, let's get into a press conference reaction with the manager. Yeah, there was Mark Bryans just said Eddie Nketiah was absent from training. He will undergo a late fitness test tomorrow. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me or play anyway. Anyway, let's move on. Press conference reaction. Let's quickly get through this waffle. I have waffled on a lot today myself. The Cone Man is back. Mickey Rose, the boss. Rose, that's my nickname. He's angry with everyone. It is an absolute disgrace. I feel sick. I feel sick. Which decision, Mikel? No, I do not want to talk about it. It's an absolute disgrace. I feel physically sick. He went full tie. You know, Newcastle, you're a cheat. I hope you get relegated. Eddie Howe, you're a cheat, and I hope Newcastle get relegated. He went full tie. He went as tie as he could go, people. Kai's on 280k a week. I mean, if it is 280, it's just getting worse. I thought it was 220, Rock, but how are you going to get that guy off the books on that contract? We are stuck with him for the foreseeable future. Every day I'm waffling. Every day I'm waffling. Every day I'm waffling. Yo, he is fuming. He's coming for the head tops. of the FA right now. They put out statements. Arsenal said, we want to put out a statement. We're backing our manager, Mikel. Behave yourself, man. Nothing ain't going to change with that statement. The FA don't care about that statement, man. You know what I mean? They went all out. Oh, we support Mikel. Here's the statement. The FA must have been shivering in their boots. Oh, no, not a statement. No, stop. They said, whatever, man. You lost. Get on with it. That's why I said, of course there was injustice there, people. But crying about it won't help us. Go to the FA, get your lawyers, get your solicitors, and get on with it. And go and win the next game. I'm more interested in why we had one shot on target. And I keep saying it, and I know it's not an excuse. If David Raya did his job on Saturday, we wouldn't have even mentioned VAR. Because that ball might have gone out, the cross came in. If our goalkeeper did his job, he would have come out and punched that ball away. And no one would be talking about Gabriel doing the dutty wine at the back post. You know what I mean? Or no one would be interested. Our goalkeeper's coming out like Superman and missing the ball. It is what it is, people. It is Cry Me a River said, cry me, oh, cry me a river. Oh, let me stop. You don't want me to hit them high notes. I'm telling you, people. Justin Timberlake settings, it's mad. Anyway, let's calm down. Let's get into the waffle settings from the manager. He's fuming. He's absolutely fuming. They've got Gatorade on there today. They're mixing it up. There was a packed press conference room at London Colney. Everyone wanted to ask him about VAR. On the early team news, Gabriel won't be fit. With Martin, it's still uncertain. The rest, no news so far. So Martin Odegaard is not even guaranteed to be playing. That's interesting, isn't it? Considering he comes on against West Ham, then we haven't seen him for the next game. Injuries galore, people. It's what happens when you train on a car park, though, people. It ain't the best. They need to sort that pitch out. Conspiracy theories and all that. On what he said after the Newcastle game, he said, it's my duty to stand in front of you and the cameras and give a clear and honest assessment. It's what I did, reflect openly, felt the way the team played was conditioned by this, and the result with the decisions that were made. It's my duty defending my players, supporting my players, my club, my people in the best possible way. This is what I'm going to do time after time. I do it the way I feel, with the evidence being as clear as possible. When we play brilliantly, to say that. When we have lost, to take my responsibility, the first one to do it. It's the way that I am. I have to defend my club. Politician. I respect it. Defend your club. I get it. The game is the game. But, bro, it's politician talk. It's like saying vote Conservatives, then they knock down the local school, and build a supermarket. You got to be careful. Can you really trust these guys? He's moving like Boris Johnson right now. Anyway, let's move on. On if he was angry about just that goal or other decisions. Some things don't happen overnight. When it was that clear and I had all the evidence for the words that I used, it's because I feel strongly. One thing I say externally, but internally, my players, it's about how we can play better. Let's skip it. He's on one. And why he thinks the goal should have been disallowed. He says, now we talk about Sevilla and the beautiful game that we have to play tomorrow. So he doesn't want to go into specifics. But I don't want to put you through the pain of it anyway, so I'm kind of glad. Mikel Luther King. I have a dream that one day, VAR will get those decisions right. We'll have goal line technology for my people, my club, for the Coleman. But no, you won't, Mikel. You won't. Let's just get on with it. We've got a beautiful game against Sevilla, he says. I hope it is beautiful. Because if we lose, we'll be in meltdown. I think we'll win tomorrow. I honestly do. On the importance of winning against Sevilla, he said, the moment you have a chance in football to put it to bed, do it. We have to do a lot of things right tomorrow to earn the right to win against a good team with enormous experience. We have to prove it in front of our people, how excited we are to play. On his statement that referee mistakes happen, didn't he just say he don't want to talk about it? He said he wants to talk about the beautiful game tomorrow. Now he does want to talk about it. He said, I stand for the same words that mistakes are part of football in any other way. This question was aimed at when Liverpool's thing happened against Tottenham. People are now saying he was a hypocrite because when it happened to Liverpool, he was kind of saying, well, you know, they're humans and mistakes happen. When it happened to Arsenal, obviously, you know, he went full tie. He was going crazy. Curtis Wiling out today. Custin Shaw Timberlake settings. Is Rick Ross your favourite rapper? Nowhere near my favourite rapper. Not even top 10 for me. Don't get me wrong. I've been in some clubs, you know. I think I'm Big Meech and it's been going off. But he ain't my top. He ain't one of my top rappers. When it comes to VAR, as much as it's corrupt, we needed to do our job. We can't be giving these frauds a decision to make, let alone free. Fix up Mikel. One of the best advices I got from a coach, very simple, something you'll have heard before. Good teams do not leave their fate in the hands of a referee. Now, I know sometimes you can't stop that because a referee might, you know, give a penalty that costs you the game or disallow a goal. But in reality, how often do you see Pep Guardiola talk about a referee? Hardly ever. Do you know why? Because even if that referee's done something stupid in that game, they've probably scored 3 goals already and the game's done. And that's the reality of the situation. You know, the best teams don't talk about referees very often. 2,000 of you in the chat, people. Make sure you smash the like button. Dre is saying, I am Big Meech. You need to relax. Rick Ross ain't the real Rick Ross. Well, I remember the 50 Cent tune, Officer Ricky. If you know, you know, people. You know, I like the authentic rappers. I want to know. I need the background check. It ain't just about the music for me. Anyway, let's continue. Let's not turn it into hip-hop. Even though I could easily talk about hip-hop for the next hour. On his statement, he said, I stand for the same words. Mistakes are part of football. Let's skip it. How VAR impacts his behaviour. I said, there is the answer. Your colleague mentioned how emotional I was after the game, how I acted. I didn't get a yellow. On Martin's injury situation and the impact of being called up for Norway. Again, not playing for Arsenal, but Norway have picked him. Martin loves to play for his country. Every time he's been called up and been fit, he's been there. And he will be there if that's the case. Why he came on against West Ham but didn't play on the weekend, he said it's no relation with what he had and what happened the day before the game against Newcastle are 2 different things. So he doesn't want to get the blame. Using the weekend to galvanise the players against Sevilla. He's blah, blah, blahing. The reaction of our club statement. Again, we have a duty to express how we feel. Skip. On the impact of the statement. Skip. It's PR. How to stop these errors happening. Errors are part of an evolution. How we've played in Europe. Obviously, we had 2 good games. The one against Lens, we struggled. Oh, I've got to read this one. On what he saw from Jorginho and his importance lately. He said, well, hopefully the same that all the managers that have played him. He is an incredible player. He is a leader and he is a very intelligent player for us. And he has the quality to make the team better. I've got to highlight the whole thing. I've got to highlight all of it. I mean, have I just gone in a time machine? Hello? Is anyone there? Am I in 2017, 2018? Have I gone back in time? Have we all got BlackBerry Messenger? Are we on MySpace? All right, that's maybe a bit further back, but you know, you get the drift. Are we downloading CDs on LimeWire? Blank CDs, downloading mixtapes? Woo Kid? G-Unit Radio Part 10? What's going on? So apparently Jorginho is an incredible player. That's the first bit. We need some more red stripe. We're going to need more, people. They don't believe me when I call it waffle settings, man. He's an incredible player and a very intelligent player. He is also a leader and he has the quality to make this team better. And you wonder why at times I question the manager. Ooh, kid. I mean, people, come on. Stop the cap. Stop the cap. This ain't the one from Napoli, and this ain't the one that was balling that Pep wanted. This is the old one. He ain't got N'Golo Kante doing his running. But anyway, did I expect anything different? Obviously not. On involving with the refereeing decisions, and there you go, it's over. I'm not even going to read it. I've heard enough. I've seen enough, and I refuse to go any further. He said he's an incredible player and an incredible leader. Incredible player, incredible played. The new hype track from Jorginho, from Mikel, out now on Cone Man music. The Cone Man himself. I'm telling you now, on the 7th of November, 2023, at 3 o'clock, right, be prepared for Jorginho 1-year contract extension, taking him to summer 2025, right? Be prepared for it. I'm saying it right now. Yeah, that piff, come on, man. Back in the day for the mixtapes was wild. Anyway. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Let's briefly look ahead. Champions League group. If we win tomorrow and PSV lose to Lens, we will qualify for the knockout stage. That will guarantee our qualification. With 2 games to go, we would be on 9 points. Sevilla and PSV would be on 2, meaning the most they could get would be 8. We're going to need to win at least 2 games to win the group. After the Sevilla game, we play Lens. I would like to think we can beat both of those teams at home in particular. PSV away is the last game. If we can win the next 2, hopefully we'll have won the group. And then PSV, maybe we can rotate a little bit and maybe do something else. How do we approach the game tomorrow? Obviously, we've just heard that Eddie Nketiah didn't train today, although he does have a late fitness test. I think he will probably make it. Apparently, I've just read that it's a knock. Probably got a bad kick. I don't think he won't be available, but if he's not available, realistically, how is Mikel Arteta going to line up? I did a predicted lineup on Sunday. I said I would like to see Trossard in the front 3 with Martinelli and Saka, and I would play Zinchenko, Declan Rice, and Odegaard in midfield. But the reality is that's not going to happen. It won't happen. He will squeeze Jorginho in the midfield, and I think he'll either play Trossard or Havertz up front if Nketiah isn't fit. I hope he plays Trossard. But it would be interesting to see Kai Havertz play through the middle, because as much as I don't rate him, and I think he is better up front than he is in midfield. A said, I went to Toon, embarrassed, didn't play to the whistle. And you know what? Listen, Arsenal fans, right, from London to Newcastle, you're looking at 6 hours probably trip to get there. It was raining. The weather wasn't good. Imagine traveling 6 hours to get there and watch 1 shot on target. And this was my point. Again, it was like, look, of course we've got to blame VAR and the referees for the performance of them. But we went there, we had 1 shot on target. We never looked like scoring. So we've got to find a way to unlock this attack. We were so good going forward last year. The one positive I'll take, the best performance of this season for Arsenal, without a shadow of a doubt, was PSV at home. So I'm hoping that a Champions League night at home, under the lights, against a Sevilla team that looked relatively slow and old, Sergio Ramos, Jesus Navas, 35, 36 years of age in defence, we got to be picking those kind of players off. Anything less than a victory is a disaster. Let's get that clear. This is a must-win game for Arteta. You've just lost back-to-back games. You need to get 3 points tomorrow and restore the faith. Obviously, we play Burnley at the weekend. We need to win the group. It's not just about qualifying. You can come second. You could get Real Madrid. You could get Bayern. You could get Barca. We need to win the group and get one of the second-place teams. Snake Eye says, bro, this community is lit, bro. I love this channel. I appreciate it. And listen, it's a goated community, as I always say. You make it easy to come here. It's just like chilling with your mates in the front room and talking football. It's light work. So how is Arteta going to line up if Nketiah is out? I think personally, what's interesting, they put out a few clips of training today, and it was all centered around Trossard finishing. He was in finishing practice, and usually Arsenal, they'll put things up when they're going to do certain things. Like Tomiyasu was in the press conference with Arteta, so that makes me think Tomiyasu will play at left back. Then they put out a clip of Trossard scoring loads of goals, so is Trossard going to play up front? It will be interesting what we do. Big up Hype, who's a new member now as well. Member stream next week. Just one question. South London's finally said, what are the other groups looking like in terms of who could potentially finish second? So I will just quickly look at that, as I am interested in that myself. So Group A. I mean, listen, Man United don't get their act together. They go into Thursday nights. If they lose to Copenhagen tomorrow, they are in big trouble, considering they've got Galatasaray away and Bayern Munich at home as their last two. So, but obviously we can't get an English team even if they do come second. Obviously that's our group. Group C, Real Madrid, Napoli. Now Napoli in the last 16 would be a bit of a nightmare. I would not want that game. They are brutal at home especially. That would be a bit of a disaster in the first knockout phase. Inter Milan at the moment. Inter and Sociedad fighting for that. I wouldn't mind Sociedad. Inter, you wouldn't ideally want to play them. They got to the Champions League final. There's a lot of know-how there. Could we beat them? Yes, but I would rather not play them if I'm being honest. Group E, Atletico. They're not as good, but I wouldn't want to play Atletico. You know, scummy Simeone performance away in Spain wouldn't be ideal at this stage. So there's some tough games. Group F, I mean, at the moment, anyone. Could be Newcastle, could be Dortmund, could be Milan, could be PSG. Personally, I think PSG will win that group. And then, obviously, we can't play Newcastle. Dortmund wouldn't be easy. Group G, Man City, Leipzig, Young Boys. I think it will be Leipzig. I would take them. I don't think they're great. Group H, at the moment, Porto. Barca are probably going to win that group. Porto wouldn't be the end of the world. So there's a few tricky ones there. You know, Atletico Madrid, possibly Napoli. They wouldn't be easy. I'm telling you now. You get those two teams over two legs. I would not be confident just because of the experience of the managers and how good they are at home. You know, they've both got a fortress of a home stadium. So that Champions League draw is going to be interesting when that comes around. I tell you that. Listen, people, thank you very much for tuning in. Really appreciate it. We've been live for an hour and 4 minutes. Tomorrow, I will be live from 7 p.m. If there's a lot of news in the day, there might be a 2 p.m. show. Usually, I do wait until an hour before kickoff to discuss, obviously, matters that have gone on during the day. So we'll be live at 7 p.m. I believe it's 8 p.m. kickoff tomorrow. Obviously, there's some good games tonight. Newcastle against Dortmund. PSG play AC Milan. So there's some good games to watch there. Arsenal kick off at 8. I'll be live from 7 p.m. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. Thank you very much for tuning in. Like the video and subscribe. And I will see you all tomorrow, people. Bless.